everyone, how are you? It's been a while since I've made any videos, and I figured it was about getting to be about that time to make another one. So I've got two of them that I'm going to do. One of them is going to be this one, which is I'm going to show you my 2x72 belt grinder that I've completed. A while ago, I think I had mentioned that I was in the process of building one. And I've got it done now. It's complete. Runs. I use it all the time now. I'm not a blade maker or anything like that. I use it for all kinds of stuff. It's just really handy, and it's a great machine. So this video will be the belt grinder, and I'm going to go over that, show you the machine, how it works, how it's built, and just a quick rundown on that. So I'm going to get to it. Hang on just a minute. So here is the grinding machine. It's all steel construction. It's all welded framework. It's mostly made out of rectangle tube, 1x2. There's some 2x2 square, bunch of flat stock, the wheels, and you know, these mechanisms here. This is aluminum, blocks of aluminum I machined, and of course drilled for the hardware, and I made hardened steel bushings that I pressed into place for the hardware to sit in so it doesn't wear out the aluminum. This is UHMW nylon, very strong. It's more than adequate for this tensioner wheel. Of course, that's steel right there. That's for the hand. That's the handle that you pull down on, you know, and the gas strut's mounted on that as well. The platen here, as you can see, it's flat stock and angle iron, and I had this burned out on a CNC plasma table, but it wasn't quite tall enough, so I went ahead and cut it apart, and I welded sections of metal back into it to give me what I needed, and it's good now. The work table, it's a piece of angle iron, and the one change that I might make to it is that I'm gonna eliminate this piece here, because it kind of gets in the way when you want to do work over this side. I'll get rid of that, and then from the bottom I'll go ahead and I'll drill a hole in that, run a machine screw into the plate and fasten it that way. You know, this is obviously the mount for the tensioner arm right here, and the reason I've got this 1x2 there and then a piece of flat there is so that this shaft wouldn't have any deflection going this way on it. I wanted it to be real sturdy, you know. And when I made this piece, I welded that to this right here and then to that, and then I drilled my hole through it, and then I went ahead, I drilled the hole undersize, and then I reamed the hole on the mill so that I knew it was exactly 90 degrees perpendicular to these parts right here. And that's another hardened bushing that I made. And basically, you know, the point in me putting that in there was to keep these two parts from squeezing in. This is steel right here, you know, and it's also drilled and reamed, and the rest of this is aluminum. And of course, as you can see, it's fastened on with these 4 fasteners right here. They're different sizes. I wanted to use countersunk heads because the countersink locates the part onto the piece that it's being affixed to, and these two right here are the countersunk heads, so they are actually the fasteners that are locating this arm, and these are standard socket head machine screws. So, you know, it's more than enough clamping force to support the load, and it does a great job. You know, if I grab this arm, let's see if I can get this. I'm pulling back and forth on it, and I've got no movement at all the whole machine is moving on the floor. See if I can get the stupid phone out of there so you can see it. No, whatever, you get the idea. Okay, so the back here, you obviously can see I've got jack shaft, and I've got pillow block bearings right here. I made the jack shaft, and I made the drive wheel itself. A little grease on me. I got the bearings greased up real good. Get some Molly base high load bearing grease in there. I don't want any grease on my belt though, because it will start slipping. The pulley, as you can see, it's a step pulley. I got that off eBay, and originally I had a flat pulley on there that I made, and not a flat pulley, it was a one groove pulley, but I made it out of another chunk of aluminum, and I changed it out because I just couldn't get the speed that I wanted. And I need to get down here on the motor and get another step pulley on there as well, because I do need still to speed this thing up some more. The motor mounts, let me get this, here we go. The motor mounts, I made the mount itself, welded it all up. It's angle iron and flat stock. These are pieces of, oh no, you know what? No. These were originally a 5/8 bolt, and I went ahead and turned them all down and threaded up here so I could put my locking nuts on, and then I cut a 3/8/16 thread on the ends of them so that I could thread into the trunnions, and that's what gives me the adjustment of the motor, you know, this way, back and forth. I could have put a spring on there, yeah, I know. I decided to do it this way. I wanted a solid mount, but these are aluminum. The trunnions themselves are steel, the blocks are aluminum. The switch here, let me get that one close to it. The switch, I picked that up. I ordered that on Amazon. That's a 220 single phase or 3-phase switch for a table saw, and like I said, I grabbed it on Amazon or eBay, I don't know, whatever. But bought myself some nice 10 gauge 4-wire cord. That's the connection to the wall, and that's to the motor right there. Come around the other side. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this thing. As you can see, flatten. You know, it's got adjustments, so if I wanted, I could swivel it this way, and the backing, the tool platen back or whatever, I don't know, whatever. This part here, I don't know what the technical term is for it. I don't really care. This can come off if I need to take it off. The wheels, all the wheels, I turned them up out of aluminum, and I ordered the bearings for them. This, of course, is my tensioner and tracking wheel. And if I look here, let's see. Yeah, right there. As you can see, those are the fasteners for holding this piece of aluminum onto the steel. I'll get up closer. And if you look, you can see where my belt ran off track a couple times and started to get into the aluminum, but it doesn't really matter. The machine track's good and straight. That was kind of like when I very first built it. I was trying to get all this stuff tuned and working the right way. Of course, this will come right out if you want. You can take that off and put another attachment in there. You know, if you want to put a wheel in there or whatever. I didn't make a wheel. I don't know if I'm going to. I'm not going to make the wheel. I'll just go buy a wheel. But you know, I didn't make the attachment, none of that stuff for it. But you can do it if you want. Of course, there's a drive wheel. Another piece of aluminum I turned. and I coated it in Plasti Dip so that it's got traction for the belt. And you know, that's pretty much it. That's the grinding machine. That's the 2x72. It's a good machine. It works perfectly. I run it, I turn it on, and it's surprising how quiet it actually is, and it just runs super smooth. So I'll go ahead and switch it on, and I'll show you it running, and I'll mess with the tracking real quick so that you can see that. So hang on. So here we go. I'm going to switch it on and we'll see it run. There we have it. I'm running the machine right now. You know, I don't have to talk very loud to speak over this thing, but you know, there's my tracking. It's like a fine-tuned knob. It doesn't take much to get that belt to move. I've got fine threads on the adjustment screw itself, so that you just got to barely move it a little bit, you know, and it just comes in straight. It just works good. Come around the side here. It's running right now. You can't really tell by the belt because it just looks like it's sitting still, but it is running. Now if you look at that, you know, you can see the drive belt from the motor dancing around, so you know that it's spinning. And if you look in close, see if I can get it, you can see the grease spinning with the pillow block bearings. I got a bunch of grease in there. I want to keep those lubed up. Everything just runs super smooth. The motor, I think the motor's off some kind of a table saw or something along those lines. I don't know. It had a big cast iron mount on it that I pulled off. But it works great. It's a 2-horse motor, 220 volt single phase. There's more than enough power to run this. So there it is. That's my 2x72 belt grinder. You know, the thing, it just works so smooth and so sweet. Everything on it is just, man, like I said, there's hardly any noise from it. It just runs so true. And when I built it, I would get to a point and I'd do something and I didn't like it, and I'd stop and take it apart and I'd do it again. And I did the whole machine like that, and it took me quite a while to make all of these parts, because if I got something done and I didn't like it, I'd rip it apart and I'd do it again. I wanted the machine to be really strong, sturdy. I wanted it to last, and I didn't want to have to work on the machine before I could use the machine to work on something else. So I just did it right. I made everything on it the right way. I just can't stand half-ass shit. So I spent a little bit of time making the parts and then making the machine. And the end result is really nice. You know, there's a million of these out there. It's not like I made something that everybody else who has a shop might not have. This is just my version of it, and I spent a while making sure everything was perfect. So anyways, that's that. That's my 2x72 grinding machine, and I hope y'all like my machine, and I hope you like the video. If you want, comment down below, like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you next time.